cookie?
No, I don't want a cookie. Stop trying to change the subject.
Cookies. Cookies.
Cookies? Gross.
What happens when you accept all cookies? Well, you might have an uncomfortable conversation with your doctor. Seriously though, what happens? Websites are terrible at making this clear. Also, the pressure just to click accept all and move on with your day is high. Today we'll be telling you what cookies are, the difference between first party and third party cookies, why it's so hard to avoid them, what are the laws surrounding cookies, and what you can do to protect yourself from them. But to answer this question, we need to understand more. So, what are cookies? Short of returning to the obvious joke, cookies fall into two forms: first-party and third-party cookies. In either form, cookies exist to help websites track information, but the type and the use of this information changes depending on whether they are first or third-party. First-party cookies are cookies that gather information to help the website work better. Examples include your shopping cart, recently entered user credentials, and preferred site settings like light mode or dark mode. First-party cookies are generally harmless. Usually these contain very little information. Unfortunately, most websites also include the other kind of cookie, third-party cookies, and they are shady as hell.
Now remember, the instant you finish it, I own your soul for...
When you click that accept all button, it's not quite as bad as owning your soul. Still, it's pretty bad. Let me explain. Third-party cookies are also known as tracking cookies. When you permit websites to use these third-party cookies, they submit your information for ad tracking purposes. These cookies will follow you from site to site, gathering information on you. The cookies use this information to target you with personalized advertisements. Third-party cookies rely on retargeting campaigns to repeatedly show you the same products. If you didn't like these cool taco shoes the first time, maybe you'll like them after seeing them the 17th time. You might well think, oh, okay Josh, what's the problem with that? What if I want to see taco shoes across the internet? Well, it's not that harmless. Before we let you know how, I'd like to stop for a quick moment to ask you to like this video. Our team at Cyberlab puts in a lot of love into what we do. So by liking, sharing, and subscribing, you help us grow so that we can make more content making dumb cookie jokes.
Cookies? Yes, me accept. Me click yes, cookies. We're cookies. Cookies.
Thanks. Now back to the action. Third-party cookies can store your information across use on websites. Not all of these websites have a HTTPS. You can find the S as part of your URL after double-clicking it in the address bar. Without the S, your information is unencrypted, and it is just HTTP, meaning any hacker on the internet can take it. This information can include unwanted data like credit card details, physical addresses, and personal details. Fraudsters can use data from third-party cookies to steal your identity. I'd call these cookies oatmeal raisin, but they're far more sinister. Also, too many cookies can cause your computer to slow down. Have you ever tried to carry 8,000 cookies and run at the same pace? That was a bad bake sale. So, we know what bad cookies are and what they do, so why not just reject third-party cookies? Websites that use third-party cookies like to discourage this, so they make the accept all button incredibly large. Meanwhile, the reject button is off in some desolate location, like in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. Clicking the reject button also rejects first-party cookies. This makes your website browsing experience bad, as sites aren't allowed to store your user settings. So every time you leave and return, you'll have to reset your experience. Sometimes sites provide you with a complete checklist of all the cookies it uses. By making this checklist overwhelming, they hope to get you fed up with the experience, so you'll just click the accept all button and be done with the whole thing. Knowing what we know about cookies, are there any laws that help us? There is one law, but only if you live in the European Union. The cookie law falls under the Privacy and Electronic Communications Regulations, or PECR. Businesses cannot activate cookies unless users understand what accepting those cookies means. There is no US version of this law. While it sounds like the UK is on the ball, the law is vague. EU lawmakers have even said that they considered loosening the requirements. Yikes!
The time has come for this cookie. Nom, nom, nom. Oh, nom, 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 nom. Bye-bye.
So, are we doomed to eternal cookies? Is it our fate to suffer at the hands of the never-ending taco shoe ads? The answer, no. There are a few ways you can solve this problem. First, your browser can help do some of the work for you. The privacy settings under most browsers allow you to decline third-party cookies. On Google Chrome, all you have to do is click the 3 dots in the upper right-hand corner, click Settings, click Privacy and Security, select Cookies and Other Site Data, and select Block Third-Party Cookies. You should also take this opportunity to familiarize yourself with how to clear cookies. You could do this under the same section where you clear browsing data. Most other browsers follow this format. Just because someone leaves fresh-baked cookies on your windowsill doesn't mean you can't dump them in the trash. You don't have to put up with them.
Oh, it is hard. Okay, here we go. Walking away from cookies.
Of course, who could resist a good cookie? You can also take this further by downloading browser extensions that decline cookies. Ad blockers like AdBlock and Ghostery will help you with this. When the ads can't get to you, the third-party cookies don't have as much to work with. As you might imagine, some websites don't care what your browser does. Despite being told no, these websites are pretty persistent. So what can you do when you can't guarantee sites will care? The answer? You provide them with false data by getting a VPN. A virtual private network hides most of your personal information. The data these unwanted cookies receive is inaccurate and unhelpful. Telling them you're in a place like Norway instead of Southern Carolina. Sure, the ads that you get might not be appropriate anymore, but you'll have ownership of your data once again. You can buy those taco shoes on your terms without anybody reminding you that they exist 8 billion times. Our 2 recommended VPNs for preventing cookies are NordVPN and SurfShark, the links to which you can find in our description. NordVPN supports obfuscated servers which easily fool unwanted trackers with false information. Its super fast NordLynx protocol ensures you can connect to its impressive array of more than 5,000 servers. NordVPN can do it almost anywhere, regardless of where you want to hide. Not see me under here. Surfshark is option number 2 because it offers some of the cheapest services compared to other VPNs. Despite this, it makes use of the lightning-fast WireGuard protocol. You can also get the Surfshark browser extension that helps you to block ads and prevent tracks, so you can speed up your computer by not needing any extra attachments. By following these tips, you won't have to worry about cookies, well, except for the delicious ones.
When you visit a website, the information is saved in files called cookies.
Let us know your favorite cookie below, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to see more of this. Thanks for watching, and stay safe out there.